Hello folks and welcome to the Vertigo Tea Party, and let's try Folk Tale. It's developed by Games Foundry. You can get it on early access for Steam on Windows, Mac, and Steam Play for $24.99. I will be playing a free press copy that was provided to me for the purpose of making this video. Before we get started though, just real quick, I'm not going to hop into these, but there is a map designer and a character designer, which is pretty cool, that you can kind of customize your townspeople. It's neat that that's there, and also that you can make your own maps. That's pretty cool. Anyway, so let's go ahead and start a new game. This is a city builder, kind of like games like Settlers. It's not on a larger scale on things like Banished, and certainly on things like SimCity and Cities XL, City Skyline, stuff like that. Much smaller scale, and of course more primitive in that you're making wood cutting huts and stone cutters and all that kind of thing. So anyway, we're going to be playing on the easy map. Maybe we'll not get overrun by spiders, but actually they did just release a patch which apparently made the spiders much less devastating. Even on the easy map, people were dying left and right because the spiders would spread into town very, very quickly. So before we get started here, we need to build a supply wagon. Now I'm going to go ahead and start building, and I'll explain as we go because it does take them a little while to build sometimes.
A building has been constructed.
What?
All right, my love.
Did I... what? It said it was constructed, but I don't see it anywhere. Okay.
Right away.
On my way.
All right. You know what? Let's go back to the main menu. I don't think that was to happen. Now, keep in mind again, this is early access, and I might have just done something and I missed it. But this is early access, so if you see any bugs, any weirdness, this is probably hopefully going to be fixed before the full release. But it's also something you need to know if you're buying an early access game, right? You need to understand that the game's not done yet, and as we've seen previously, it might not ever be fully completed. I, make no claims as far as any of that goes. Let's hope it does, because I like to see more of these games. Anyway, so let's first start by making a supply wagon. We're going to make it right here. I'm thinking I might have made it up here accidentally. You always have to make the supply wagon first. Next thing, we need to start harvesting wood. We don't have enough to make one yet, which hopefully they tweaked that a little bit. Because you start off, let's see, like, if I want to make a woodcutter. Where's the woodcutter? Here he is. We need 25 logs, and unfortunately we don't have enough to start with, so you have to send your peasants out to chop wood. So one interesting thing about the way the professions work in this game is that you build, like a lot of games like this, I need somebody, a woodcutter, to cut down trees, both for firewood and for planks to make other buildings. Now, peasants can do that. We can just have our regular, normal peasants do that. However, they're not as efficient at doing it. They also need to be doing other things like harvesting crops, building buildings, things of that nature. So let's go ahead and start by making a woodcutter's hut. You can always tell what it is, something is, just hover over it. It'll tell you what it does in pretty good detail. And also along the bottom there will show you how much of what resources it takes to build it. So in this case, I need 25 planks. So we're going to go ahead and make that. And you can see the range. As I'm moving it around, the logs will go kind of, from dark to lit up. That means the area that they will service or cut trees from it, if you will. So we're just going to place them right here. Well, also the building has to be green. So we need to find somewhere we can actually stick this building. We can rotate it with the mouse wheel. I want it to be this way. There we go. For no reason other than it looks like it would make the most sense pointing that way. So now we'll watch our peasants. You can scroll in with the mouse wheel here. And since they don't have anything else to do, since they just turned in a bunch of wood, now they're going to come over here and build our woodcutter's den. This usually doesn't take very long to build the actual building. You can see it's coming up very quickly. As you know, the way to build buildings is to get the right materials you need and then just start hammering into the ground, and the building will just magically come out of the ground.
Construction completed.
All right, so next you'll notice there's like a dark question, like a silhouette with a question mark. That means we don't have anybody working in here. And if we hover over the woodcutter's hut, we have a 0% efficiency because nobody's working there, and we have 0 of 4 woodcutters. So if I select this, now there's two ways I can assign peasants to become woodcutters. I can either go in here and look at the various dialogue options for the building, which we'll look at a little bit later, and go to the workers and assign people, or I can just say, all right, I don't want to do that. I need I need 2 woodcutters. So we'll just click on that twice. I actually kind of wish the button wouldn't go away when you clicked it, but whatever. So 2 people should go in, but they're not. Okay. Well, I'll just do it manually. Just go over here. 2 people, and you'll see them run in, and we'll watch them. And they'll change clothes, and they'll put their axe on, and now they will automatically go to splitting wood. Now, we need to see what kind of resources we have. You see, we have a decent amount of resources. We got things like iron ingots, planks, stone blocks, flour, that kind of stuff. So we're going to need a lot of wood to start with, both for firewood and planks for building. And the way to grow your village is to build more cottages. So that's one of the first things I like to do anyway. Build a cottage. We need 50 planks though, so we're going to have to wait. Actually, you guys are not doing anything. So go ahead and...
On my way.
Actually, you guys are going to go and grab berries. Now, normally, there's not like a profession that grabs berries, but it helps to give you a little bit of extra... I think berries are carbohydrates. What's interesting is you have multiple food groups that you have to deal with. A lot of these types of games, it's like, okay, you have to have food, shelter, and clothing, and, you know, weapons, things of that nature. But in this game, you not only have to have food, you have to have protein, carbohydrates... I forget what the other 2 are. 1 or 2 others. So that's interesting that you have to have a varied diet. Because a lot of games you have to have a you want a varied diet just to make people happier. But in this one, I think you have to, or else maybe they get sick. I'm not sure quite how that works. The berries are renewable. You can see here that these are gone, but these are still showing up. After a while, those will pop back up. That's the other reason I went ahead and had them get the berries, is because I wanted them to get time to renew. Do we have enough for a cottage? We sure do. So we are going to go ahead and start building our cottages back here. Again, you can tell I can build there by the green, and I can rotate with the mouse wheel. So go ahead and click on that. Now the woodcutters are not going to help. Woodcutters just do their wood cutting. That's it. These peasants, however, will finish whatever they're doing currently and then go over. So as soon as this lady drops her berries, it'll go over there. Now you can see when I click on that woman, obviously it's a female character, but she has a male thing. She's eating right now, so she's not going to go yet. Now she's going to run to start building that cottage. But there's several things here. Most of them aren't implemented yet. There's like a guard mode, toggle auto AI. This way they will kind of do things on their own. Basically with the villagers, or with the peasants, I presume that just means things like tending crops, things that the villagers, the general purpose type things that villagers do. Oh, the peasants, I keep saying villagers. They're all villagers. The peasants will actually take firewood to the houses as well, freeing up the woodcutters to focus entirely on cutting down wood, which I think was a patch that they just did. There's also like a camera follow, which is also not implemented, a character sheet. Now here's where we start to get a little bit more into the RPG elements. I want to get to building though, because it takes them a while to build, and I want to show you a variety of buildings. So I'm going to kind of go back and forth, so I apologize about that in advance. There is this kind of fog of war. You need to break through that so that you can build things in that area. What can we build? Let's see what kind of resources. We get a lot of wood. So let's see if we can build a blacksmith now. Yep, we sure can. We're going to put the blacksmith right here, because there's iron ingots right here. And these two are taking firewood to the cottage, and you can tell it's got firewood because smoke starts to come out of the smokestack, which is a feature I always like. I know this seems odd, but one of my favorite features of Banished was the smoke coming out of the smokestacks. I've always liked that. Anyway, so these guys are going to work on the blacksmith. While that's happening, let me go ahead and go back and click on one of these characters. It tells you what they're doing at the top here. These, I'm going to guess, are abilities that you can unlock, in particular probably for more of your combat units. But we were talking about the inventory. This is kind of where the inventory, the RPG type system starts to come into play. You can see this person has a bunch of slots just like an RPG. Boots, belt, chest, all that stuff they've got. Stats, strength, agility, all of that. I don't think these do anything yet. And in the inventory, hopefully I'll be able to show you this. You find items like armor and helms and swords and things like that, so that you can actually equip your people with those things so that they fight better, increases their survivability, things like that. All right, so let's go ahead we're going to look here. And you always have to have at least one peasant. So I can't assign both of these people to work in the blacksmith. We are going to go ahead and build yet another cottage. And we're going to need quite a few of these. I usually put the cottages together. I don't think it matters too much. In fact, if you wanted to be really efficient, you'd probably try to get the cottages close to where people work. There we go. Oh, there we go. That way they don't have to go far to go to sleep. And you'll also notice the farmers and all of the people will come to the supply wagon for the time being to grab food, clothing, things of that nature that they need. Because the supply wagon has your kind of your starter kit, right? Because if you just started with no food, no clothing, anything, then you would die very, very quickly. So this gives you a little bit of breathing room to start gathering food, things like that. Let's see, so let's go ahead and also show the upgrade system, which again isn't implemented. Keep in mind, if you're one of those who's not patient with this type of thing and just wants to buy the game and want it to have all the features and not have to kind of work around things, early access in general might not be for you, but this game definitely seems like it feels like it still has a good ways to go, because a lot of the things that I want to check out, especially the things that make this game stand out from others, aren't implemented yet. It looks promising, but again, if you don't have a lot of patience for that, you might want to hold off. Anyway, let's go into the research. You can do research, and like for example here it says leatherworking unlocks leather armor, crafting recipes. So again, you can make leather armor to suit up your people, in particular your armed units, shield making, daggers, chainmails, things of that. Now right now, as far as I know, research has not been implemented. I have not found a way to get research points. So you can also do upgrades, which you can see again, not included in this version of Folktale. So you can upgrade the building probably to make new armors, to new weapons, things of that nature. Let's go ahead and finish that up while we're there. Production. This shows you your overall production. It seems to be based on worker productivity, which here it says determined by the level of the person working, their tools, any buffs that you have. You can lash your employees your villagers just like in like Dungeon Keeper to make them work harder for a short time, but that kind of makes them unhappy, oddly enough. Base output, I don't know, I guess it just has a base output based on I don't know what. Workbench bonus, I don't know what that is. Actual output. There's some other things, talk about research, things like that. Again, I don't think a lot of that is implemented yet. Reward with that. Rewarding, oh, I see. Rewarding workers increases their productivity slightly for 2 minutes. So I guess if you really need something done quickly, you can throw a little gold at them. And you gain gold from taxing your people.
New settlers have arrived.
All right, so again, we can see our total settlers up here. We see our total money, research points, our overall happiness, I guess. 49 seems to be all right, and I don't know what that is. It's like a faith thing. So what do we need next? Well, next, we need defense. I have found out the hard way. So we have 3 categories of buildings. One, you kind of have a almost catch-all here. Most of your buildings. You have your military buildings, which are like walls, a barracks, and a workshop. Let's see, and lastly, what they quote-unquote advanced buildings, and we'll go into that in a bit. But right now, let's go ahead and start a barracks. It's a pretty big building. We're going to stick it right over here if we can find a spot for it. Well, I think it's because... Now, one thing this game definitely needs is a way to quickly be able to grab peasants who are not doing anything. And actually, I think it's F or T. I think F is supposed to highlight any peasants you don't have highlighted, but that didn't work for me. Anyway, let's go ahead and have them explore a little bit. Push back this gray area. We don't want to go too far because there are dangers out there we have to look out for. And that's one of the things that separates this game from a lot of other... What in the heck? I swear I had this over here before. And oh, it's going to be at a weird angle, but... Oh, there we go. Jeez. You got to be careful because one thing that kind of separates this game from others like it I've played in these city buildings, it's usually you building a city and either A, your only goal is to raise your population, advance your civilization, deal with natural things like disease and making the people happy, things like that. All right, so we need to hurry up and hire some folks in here in the barracks. And by the way, all like women and men can all do all positions, just FYI. All right, so this guy is going to attack the barracks. I was kind of afraid of that. Now these guys won't necessarily auto-defend, and they just kind of pile up on each other.
Ready to serve.
They've got low hit points for. Oh, I think whenever they first get trained, they do this.
Nothing to see.
All right, so let's go push these guys back before they destroy my barracks that I just made. Yeah, they put these guys a little bit overly close to your village, especially when starting off. We just want to kill these guys, the archers. We might lose a villager or a guardsman, I guess. That's fine. Jeez, die. Like, I got him really low really quick, and then he just wouldn't die. And as you can see, archers have a hell of a range. We'll see what happens here. Is he going to follow? Yep, we're going to have to kill him. Nope. All right, he's gonna bugger off. All right, so we'll just leave that as it is. Oh, no, he's still gonna... All right, so there's gonna be an archer.
Settlers have arrived looking for a fresh start.
All right, let's clean these guys up. We're not gonna bother fighting these because they will not survive. And also, they've buffed these guys up, like your guards. He's running. Oh, and he just full health. Got healed. I don't know if he used an item or something, but...
Something to do?
Oh, I think that's just a regular
Right away. Okay.
townsperson. You need to run away. All right, so
my
we are
love.
going to
Yes,
back off. You guys going to come over here. Now, you'll see there's some sparkling corpses here, and if I right-click, I can loot them. Looks like we got a bow and some boots. A ring. Pants, some money. All right, so now let's go ahead and click on one of our guards here. Is that the archer? No. It's just a regular guardsman. Let's open their inventory and open our general inventory. And now we can say, okay, well, let's give you the armor. Again, it has stats, 6 physical armor, attack speed 33. Give us a shield, some pants, and this ring, which I don't know what that ring does, but there you go. This person's going to be tricked out. Obviously, it's probably should spread it out amongst our people a little bit better. You are the archer, I think. I don't know if they can use the bow. It's a 7 physical attack versus... That's about the same. Attack speed's 50 versus attack speed 18. It's got much further range, though. Let's go with the crossbow. I'd rather have the damage than the range. So that will just kind of stand there. Now, I don't know if they can level up. Let me select him here. Or her. It's hard to tell. They all have the same face. Okay, yes, they can level up. I don't know how leveling up works. Let's grab one of our woodcutters because those guys, and I promise I've actually played this game like 4 or 5 hours. I just haven't looked at the leveling up type statistic. All right, let's grab one of our lumberjacks and open up. So he's not actually leveling up like his woodcutter abilities, right? You think you'd be like a level 2, like, you know, level 2 woodcutter, or at least have a little bit of experience. So I don't know if I'm just missing something there, or maybe that's not implemented yet, but let's keep building. We are going to go ahead and build a new cottage. We'll look at some of the other stats and stuff. I keep clicking randomly here. All right, let's go ahead and put another cottage down because we need more people. And your town will auto-replace people that you lose because they died from disease, things like that. So you don't have to worry too much about that, but you need cottages to bring in new people. So again, as you see at the top right, I've got my max is 10 and I have 10 people. And as soon as this cottage is finished, that max will increase and people tend to come in pretty quickly. So
Building completed.
all right, next we want to get more food. So Fisher Hut is a good idea. And I want the fishing hut on this side. Again, you can see where you can see the range of the fishing hut. And as I highlight the little fish icons in the river, you can see the number of spots that they can fish at. So we're going to put you right here. That should be fine. Let them go and do that. Let's see. Let's look at some of the rest of the UI. That's the settings, which I'm not going to go to in just yet. World map, not implemented just yet. Construction options. Again, I kind of went over that, broken up into 3 tiers. There's your civics. This is trying to show your happiness, warmth, hunger, protein, carbohydrates, and vegetables. That's the other food group. So it's vegetables, carbohydrates, and protein. I guess there's not a fourth. Their entertainment, basic clothing, and our tax rates, things like that. All right, so they finished that already? Okay. All right, let's go ahead and put in... Let's actually put 2 fishermen for right now. And let's start making some of the more complicated things that require several things at once. Well, actually, one thing we also need to get going is a stone cutter. Very, very chipper music. All right, so we're gonna put this place pretty close to this. There's tons of stone that should be able to get that pretty easily. So we still have a good bit of. Is this stone or iron ingots? That's iron ingots. These are stone. We still have a lot of stone. You bring a lot of stone in the supply wagon, which is amusing because, given how small it is, it carried a lot of stone. But we'll forget all that. And again, here's your stockpile. Again, you can just kind of see how much you have. The thing is, it's kind of weird is it doesn't show you everything. So if we like open our inventory, there's pretty important things that you would think should be there. For example, berries. They should probably be in there. Fish, not so much because they use fish to make fish steaks or salmon steaks, I think. Yeah, salmon steaks. I don't think you're... Well, no, never mind. I almost said you don't get salmon out of a river, but actually you very much do get salmon out of a river. I don't know what I was thinking. But for the most part, everything should be in here. Now, one thing UI-wise I'd like to see change is a lot of times, especially early on when I'm trying to build things, I'm constantly having to check back and find out, do I have that yet? Do I have enough yet? Do I have enough yet? And it can be a little bit annoying to have to constantly go in there. We're going to build a weaver hut so we can start focusing on clothes, by the way. So we'll put you... Let's put you over here. And I'm not going to show you all the buildings. I'm just going to, again, kind of get you understanding the process, the types of buildings, how all that works, etc. But, you know, a lot of times, again, like, okay, now I want to go ahead. The weaver hut is going to definitely need a field to grow cotton. Probably not a great place to put that because there's not really a good close place to grow the cotton. That will have to work. This is not ideal, by the way. I'm just kind of throwing buildings down at this point. We won't put anybody in here in the weaver's hut yet because we need the field anyway. Otherwise, the weaver is pretty worthless. So we'll wait just so we can, you know, maximize.
Building completed.
And we'll go ahead. We're going to set this to cotton. You can, once the field, you can't, one thing I don't like is you can't change the field until it's fully finished being created. But you can put wheat there for bread, wheat, or cotton for clothes, herbs for an apothecary to make, basically cure simple diseases, things like that. And then carrots to feed people with, obviously. So we're going to go in here and hire somebody. Now that, and one thing that was very confusing to me originally was the fields, because it talks about needing a windmill. Windmill trains farmers, which tend to fields. So I thought, okay, put all the fields around the windmill. Well, that's not the case. You actually only have enough stone blocks to do that. So this is what I'm kind of talking about. It's like, okay, well, I need 100 stone blocks and 100 ore ingots. Let's go ahead and build another village thing in the meantime. Draw more people in. I would like to be able to quickly have it on, like, have that information. Come on. Oh, I just saw it. Come on, there we go. Again, not ideal placement here by any stretch, but just kind of throwing them down here to show you how the city can progress. But I wouldn't be able to see things. In particular, I would want to see wood, metal, and stone up here, because those are the things that I use to build with. So I don't want to just to be here and checking repeatedly, okay, can I build this yet? Can I build this yet? Can I build this yet? I would like to see that up there, or at least have the option to have it up there. Later on, when you're maybe not building so much and you have a chance to stockpile, it won't be such a big deal. But I also really, really want to be able to see how many... Oh, shit, no, don't want to do that. I want to see how many... Let's go ahead and get... And since we're trying to kind of just show this stuff, let's do it quick. Oh, and I forgot to hire people in the Stonecutters Lounge. Get 2 people there. So now we only got 1 peasant free, but we've got enough for more villagers to move in. But yes, I would like to see the option to be able to see that information. Again, stone, iron ingots, and planks, specifically planks, so that I know, okay, I'm ready to build these buildings, or, you know, what have you. See, what do we have a lot of? We have iron ingots. Actually, our iron ingots are doing okay. We don't need 3 people over here. And you can demote people. And I've actually found that's very handy. So early on, for example, I'll put a lot of people cutting wood. And then I'll notice, oh, we've got like way too much wood, which is not the case now. But I'll have like 200 wood. It's like, okay, I need to dial back on the woodcutters. I'd like to see there be a balancing mechanic there. And hopefully that's one of the parts where the leveling comes into play. Because just switching people back and forth seems a little bit too easy. I'd like to see somebody who's a woodcutter for a while learn how to be a woodcutter better, and therefore makes them more efficient at doing it. So you have to really think, do I really want to pull this person off of wood cutting? Because I'll lose efficiency if I have to move them back. So I'd like to see that. Again, that could just be something that's not implemented yet. I do not know. So can I build a... I'm trying to think. Let's actually go with a hunter's lodge. Nope, we need stone for that. How are we doing on wood? The huts are only 50 wood, so we have 2 people in the stone cutters. You know what? Let's get a third. We need to get some stone cut. You know what? Actually, let's go all out. Again, it's not really a big deal to put people in there, right? Because you can drop them out. You can it's called demoting, which seems a little harsh. It's like, I'm just telling you, don't work there anymore. Not firing you. I'm not saying you're a bad person. But yeah, you know, and some of these processes are pretty simple, self-explanatory. The person who gets carrots, for example, just grabs carrots and people eat them. Or in the Fisher hut, same way. They fish, they cook fish steaks, and people come and buy them and eat them. Now, things like this are a little bit more difficult. So you have the weaver's hut, and then you have the cotton field. So the weaver actually gathers the cotton, and that's one thing that's taken me a little bit to get used to, is that a lot of times you'd have the farmer, like there's a separate farmer who at the very least does multiple types of fields and harvests whatever he needs and takes them somewhere or drops them off or whatever. And then the weaver only concern themselves with the actual making of the product. However, that's not the case here. The weaver actually farms the cotton, and on top of that, we also need a tailor's emporium, which actually we do have enough for. I like the look of some of these buildings. It's kind of a weird mix on art styles, and it doesn't really... It's a little strange, because stuff like the weaver's hut, right, looks pretty standard, right? Like relatively standard, right? Just it's standard building, right? Blacksmith, same thing. You come over here. He's got the blacksmith. Sorry, I'm janky all over the place. You got the blacksmith sign. You've got the kiln, the blacksmith hammer, all that crap. The standard stuff.
A building has been constructed.
But then you have stuff like this. Let me go ahead and get somebody in here so that they're making clothes, because we'll need clothes pretty soon. You have something like this, where it just looks like a big pin cushion. Pin cushion. So it's more stylistic. Like it's nice to see from up here. It's like, whoa, okay, that's obviously the tailor's emporium. But when you look at stuff like this, it's like, okay, well, that's the weaver's hut. I know because of the wheel. So it's still pretty easy to distinguish things, because I was going to say, well, all the building types kind of blend together. But that's not really the case. Once you learn, there's like at least 1 or 2 visual cues that tells you, oh, this big crane thing, that's a stonecutter's lodge. This has got a giant wood saw. This is the woodcutter's hut. Things like that. So I do like that it's easily identifiable, because a lot of times with games like this, you've got all these wooden buildings that look the same, and you're like, wait, which one of these is the weaver's hut? I don't remember. But anyway, so now, yes, to make clothes, and again, this was one of the things that tripped me up early on, was you need a weaver's hut and a field, so that you can have them gather the cotton, and then, I guess, weave the cotton into like bolts, like cloth bolts. I'm thinking, wow, here. And then you need a tailor's emporium on top of that to create the clothing. To me, that feels like an unnecessary second step. It feels a little bit overdone. Now, if the tailor also can make, and maybe they can, and, I could have missed this. Also, there's crafting. Again, it doesn't appear to be in the game, which I'm presuming you would take maybe special recipes that you've got from killing creatures out in the world and create special items of clothing or weapons or whatever. But yeah, if all they make is like basic clothing, then it seems like an extra step, right? So why couldn't you just have the weaver take care of all that, right? Why couldn't the windmill also take care of the cotton field? It seems like an extra step. Now, if the tailor can also make clothes from something like deer hides that your hunters provide, okay, then I'll give you that. Then okay, that makes a little bit more sense. Let's see. Speaking of, let's go ahead and do that. Let's make a hunter's. It's under here. We'll put the hunter here. Actually, I always debate, because I always play on this map, where to put the hunter. If I put the hunter here, they always have to curl across the bridges, and especially over here, he's got to go all the way around over there. But if I put him here, he's closer to the meat, but people have to go further to get the food. But I usually go ahead and put it right here, just so he's also not taking up room over here. I also built a new cottage. I mean, my personal way of doing it is every 2 buildings or so, I make a new cottage. Probably not ideal, but that's the way I do it.
Have enough planks to do that.
Not enough planks? Okay, how we doing? 36 planks, not too bad. No point in putting more woodcutters down. And I'll probably wrap up soon here. The spiders will probably start coming soon enough. And even the last time I played this, because I wanted to try the new patch and see what has changed. Even with the new patch, the spiders came in. I probably could have fought them off, but you know, it does kind of get you an incentive to, okay, I get my basics done, but you better have your other stuff ready to go. Your defenses need to be up to par. So again, see, we're down to only two peasants. So yeah, we definitely need more folks in the village. And perfect timing. We just got the planks, so we're actually going to put that over here. And you know what? Let's go ahead and
Something to do?
just to give them time to kind of get their stuff going. And I'm also need some. I need some time to have that going. Let's see, how many people do I have? I got 3 people selected. I'd like to see maybe a small window here, maybe like an RTS, to see how many people I have selected. I can do Control 1, and it will make control groups, I think. Let me try it. Wait, unselect them.
Alright,
Yes,
then.
so if I hit Control 1 with those guys selected, if I unselect and then press 1, it selects them again. You can also choose, well, what's it called? Auto recruit on here. The wrench doesn't do anything, but I think there's like an auto recruit which will automatically hire people, but like bring people in. So if somebody dies, I think it automatically will bring it back up to 4. I believe that's my understanding.
Our village
Anyway,
has attracted new settlers.
let's go ahead and start taking a look over here. Let's check our resources. Okay, because what I want to make is a butcher, which takes 100 planks. So we got a little ways to go. So we got a little time to explore the map. And it is an interesting combination of RPG and city builder, because in most city builders, I don't like to have to fight. If I can choose an option to not have any enemy AI, I take that option, because I'd rather focus on city building as opposed to another city. I think this is an interesting variation in that a lot of times you're fighting, like you saw those goblins over there by the ocean.
New settlers
You're going to have to deal with that. There's spiders over here that you're going to see soon that you can destroy the spider den, and you can get resources, which I presume will be used in crafting and making items, things of that nature. There's a rabbit or something. How's our wood? 88, still not enough to make the butcher. So we see we got the spider layer there. Oh, let's pull back.
have arrived.
Have them beat on him. Oh man, that crossbow's slow. And they also upped the durability. Keep in mind, while this guy's getting his butt kicked, they actually increased the durability of the armed guys.
Yes, Petal.
They completely got annihilated by all enemies
Alright, my love.
in the patch before this.
Die.
I think I'm going to give her something else. That is really slow. All right, let's hurry up and destroy this lair. Oh. Nope, come on. This is probably not going to end well.
How can I help? I ain't no damsel. Time for a bruising.
Those dialogues.
Something
All
to
right,
do?
so we're going to try to run him away and let the archer finish him off, maybe. Oh, nope. She may or may not survive this. I don't know if she's got a melee weapon. Probably not.
Settlers
She's
have
probably going to
arrived
need
looking
one.
for a fresh start.
Nope. She is going to try to run away. She's probably poisoned, though. Yep, poisoned. So they're all dead. Let's go ahead and loot these spiders. We got venom sacks, which again, right now I don't know if they're used for anything. But yeah, you want to destroy those. And I like that element. I like the element of, one, a more natural enemy. Well, natural I say when you're fighting goblins, but you get kind of what I'm saying, as opposed to an enemy nation who's building up as well that you eventually have to build up and do the same with. I also like the idea of... Let's go and get some more folks in here. I like the idea of growing, that like the people growing, like them leveling up, you giving them items, upgrading their items, and they become like a force to be reckoned with. And so, as opposed to just disposable soldiers, which so far they've mostly been disposable soldiers. I'm hoping that changes once we get kind of into it a bit more. Some of those features get added. But while we're waiting on the last person to go in, let's go ahead and get the butcher shop made. And I'm going to put the butcher shop right here because theoretically... Oh, wait, let's turn it around. Yes, it must be aesthetically pleasing, damn it. Gotta have it in the path. Even I say that, even though it's grossly out of position. There we go. I just clicked until it worked. Alright, so do I have all 4 now?
Yes, Petal.
They have a bad habit of stacking up. So how many is that? That is all 4.
Right, my love.
Alright, so let's go get revenge for our fallen comrades. And this will probably be the last thing I do. I think you guys kind of get the idea. Like I said, right now in its current state, it feels like a pretty typical Banished style. Well, I don't like comparing it to Banished because it's Banished has a lot more higher populations, things like that. It's more like the Settlers. But the reason I don't compare it to Settlers as much is because a lot of people haven't played the Settlers. Older ones in particular. I haven't played the newer ones. See, I don't know if we'll be able to do this. Alright, see if we can get this spider off by itself. Come on. And I'm going to try to spread my guys out a little bit here. Once they start taking damage.
Ready for
Well, that just means more people getting poisoned, though, so... Alright,
onward to victory and shade.
nice. So grab some more of that loot.
Yes, my dear.
Man, that poison's brutal. Let's kill this spider.
Drink to your
Maybe we can actually take out this evil spider lair. But yeah, I like more of a focus on the individuals, right? I like being able to, again, loot, experience them out, level them up,
Villagers are in need of vegetables.
loot them up, things like, or loot them up. Why am I saying it like that? What do we get? I didn't get anything. I can't loot. Move. Well, it's not letting me loot. I'm not quite sure why. I'm right-clicking. Left-clicking. Oh, wait, where'd my UI go? Actually, where did my UI go? Did I? Okay, well, that is a really good time to stop it. Oh, I think the game's about to crash. Anyway, let me try to wrap it up here. Thank you guys for watching. Overall, again, I think this game could become something special, something unique. Right now, it's pretty standard kind of, I don't want to say sitting building, but simulation? Banished-esque. I'm totally stumbling over my words. I apologize. But you get what I'm trying to say. It's pretty standard. It's not really bringing anything different to the table right now. Some of the stuff that I'm seeing looks like it very well could. But right now, it's just not ready to go. Now, if you're okay with jumping in early, because it does seem like the developers listen to feedback, because I did check the forums. They do appear to be active on the forums, listening to feedback, responding to people. So in that sense, they seem to be active. So if you're interested in getting in on that and like that aspect of it, absolutely check it out. If you're the type who wants to, get in and have the majority of features ready to go, not deal with bugs like the one I'm having right now, then you might want to go ahead and just give it a wait. Either way, I think I'm definitely going to keep my eye on this one. I've been wanting to play it for a while. And again, I like the base game. I'll be interested to see how it expands into, again, more of the leveling up, gearing out your army, things like that. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you'd like to see more videos like this covering games you may or may not have heard of, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, and I will see you next time.
Step back though. We are getting this
I do
worked
hate
up
you, though.
about a mobile game. I mean,
I do hate you, though. I want to be 100% clear with a moment of seriousness. I hate your guts.